Welcome to my elementary school presentation on how to play Blast to Oblivion. Alright, so this is a slideshow. PowerPoint. Yeah, I did this. Alright, so why play Blast? Obviously because it's a good card, right? Let's go over the pros and cons. Of course, like these are sort of specific, some of them, but they are like to hint towards like the different synergies that you can get and do with the card. And there's of course sides of everything. This is not like nitpicking, but yeah, well, take this with a grain of salt. This is my opinion, right? So of course everyone knows the Exodia hand that you can do with Blast Oblivion and Gallon Flash when you have Sigil, Brilliance, Somersault, and you just loop the blast and keep drawing cards, right? And you just do the highest combo damage that probably is actually doable in CC. I guess Kano can go over it, but they need a lot more. Yeah, Kano goes over it. Well, whatever. It's like this is like 90 something damage, and it's also a combo that you can pitch stack. You can't really pitch stack without Blast Oblivion, but you can also pitch stack with Blast Oblivion without Greaves. So yeah, sometimes that is relevant, like especially in Jarl matchup, like other fatigues. The other fatigues doesn't target your Greaves, Jarl does, but yeah, this just gets over like everything. The Blast Oblivion, it's another independent combo card to gun. Just random hand that I picked. Like this can be like any instance. You just want one sigil, right? A somersault would be good. Billions is of course preferable here, but you can do like if this was like conductivity, you can go conductivity, blast, instant, pick that back up. Now you're like if you play it back, you're 4 Volzar. You created embodiment, and yeah, then you can just shoot your spell that you have here, like etchings or like any spell. You just get the thing over AB and fix like 1 AP issue out of your hand. That's totally fine sometimes. You don't need the craziest combos. So I definitely look out for this. I've won many games where I just shoot this type of combo, because otherwise you maybe like IP etchings if you can't block with it. Like there's options. Blast gives this deck a lot of options. Yeah. So then there's also like the conductivity side of things, where a lot of times you're sitting on Sigil of Conductivity, where it doesn't get popped, it doesn't exit the field by any means, and it's just sort of there to make Volzar free, which is already like fine. But Blast Oblivion actually makes perfect use of it, where you can pick it up and create embodiments to chain turns or carry them over for the next turns. And like here, you have this hand. This hand is 28 value, non-Greaves combo, no Greaves used, right? Because you play Blast, Somersault, pick up Conductivity. Then you play Conductivity, this instant from the arsenal. And you pick up the Conductivity, make embodiment again. Then you go Gun, Flash, Conductivity, and then Etchings of Arcana. And it doesn't matter what instant this is. It's a Cities of Secrets if you want to know, but yeah, like this hand without Somersault, if you have just one instant, also goes really hard, where you go Blast, instant, pick up Conductivity. You have to go again, Gone, Conductivity, Etchings. You have that now, like 4 Volzar. And you go over there. Wait, is that 4? 1, 2, 3. Well, if the instant is lightning, it's 4 Volzar. But yeah, that's all that is from just 4 cards. You don't need to use this card for that. So it does create like these very good turns when you draw. Like it's not even hyper specific. You usually have Gun Flash in your arsenal, and it just draw and like usually have Sigil of Conductivity and you try to chain Embodiment of Lightning's turn after turn. Because if you have like Embodiment of Lightning per turn, you have Sigil per turn. Yeah, it's pretty hard to lose. Honestly, like it's pretty damn hard for Ursula to lose. So yeah, it's not like hyper specific setup. It's just something that you try to play on average, and then you just arrive at these hands, and yeah, GG's. Like after this, you have Greaves turn open. The game is just over. Then there is also like these not white hands conductivity things that you can do with blast. Like you have sigil of conductivity set up, you have sigil of solids or blast in arsenal, or any instant with blast in arsenal. You just play blast, play the instant, now you pick up conductivity, make embodiment for lightning for next turn, and you can arsenal the conductivity if you want to, or you can cycle it to Oscillo's ability to arsenal a random card, which when you have conductivity, there's no breaks. When you have embodiment for lightning, there's no breaks in your deck that you can arsenal. Pretty much. Worst could be eclectic magnetism, but it's not like worst. Can be good. Yeah. This is very good also playing these low hands and setting up next turns. Because in Flesh and Blood in general, it's just better to go like oscillating values, like going 918, 918 rather than 14, 14, 14, 14 every turn. The reason for that is because decks are tuned to block well and consistently do things and stop things. Like for example, Guardian does struggle when you go like setup turn into big turn into setup turn into big turn rather than doing the same thing over and over again. And this was something that was very apparent when I played pitch stack Kano a shit ton. Like KO was not pitch stackable ever if they knew even a little bit what they were doing. But if they just threw their 14 to 16 value every turn, you pitch stacked every KO player alive. And yeah. So next thing, Blast Oblivion is the best card at ticking up your Volzar. Like this hand here, we only have Sigil of Conductivity, a lightning spell, a lightning instant, sorry, and Blast Oblivion, and a spell, starting with Embodiment of Lightning. So this is a 3-card hand with Conductivity on board, right? And we get with this Volzar to 3 if we play this back, but we can also pitch Conductivity if this is like Valley to keep the Valley around, or we can cycle the Oscillo's ability again, an arsenal random card if this is like something else than the Lightning Valley. Again, like a lot of these options, where do you want to prioritize arsenaling cards? Do you want to, or do you need to push over AB? Or do you want to keep this Valley around? Did I already say that? Yeah, whatever. Options. Anyways, you know. But these 3 cards, it goes 7 damage. And sets up Sigil of Conductivity for next turn. Really nice stuff. Like any type of hand, because you pick up conductivities or any sigils, play them back, you get double the Volzar value, pretty much, and you're sort of drawing back your best cards in the deck, because I think like sigils are the most important, the most glue cards of your deck. So if you can keep them every turn, you basically just Blast is drawing your conductivity back all the time. It's really good. You have to understand though the importance of having the sigil uptime per turn, because it makes your Volzar free. It makes you, depending on sigil, of course, everyone understands the drawing card is really good. But do not sleep on Embodiment of Lightnings. I swear, sometimes these Embodiment of Lightning tokens are more important than actually drawing cards, because they sort of guarantee you that you do not break your hands, like ever. You can draw multiple spells and then you break, like that's one side of it, but you cannot break in multi attack hands basically. And all your biggest turns starts from Embodiment of Lightnings. Yeah, Blast is just the best at using the embodiments, best at making them. Yeah. All the sigils besides Aether are also lightning cards, so they tick up your Volzar, make it free. Like if you play 1 sigil a turn from arsenal. Your opponent needs to always give a card, or then you trigger searches if you draw searches. It's I don't know how to explain this better. It's so important to have like if you have a sigil a turn, embodiment of lightning a turn, I don't think you'll lose ever. Yeah, you can get high rolled by aura or whatever, but like your win rate is probably like 90% if you have sigil embodiment turn. Yeah, it's crazy. And another thing is that channel ID value, people are kind of on and off about the card. Most of the people are saying like it's alright card, and I think a little more highly on channel line value because like firstly it makes people block, and even if it most of the time like cycled itself, it also like made the block, ticked up Volzar, and you can also have the options to keep it around. And if you have channel lightning valley around, you're making good turns most of the time. And Blast Oblivion resets its counters. It does not reset the draw because channel lightning valley always triggers from the first instance that turn you are dealing damage to your opponent, even if it wasn't your hand or whatever. But Blast does reset its counters, and arsenaling channel lightning valley is really good. So, like say these cards were the other way around. We carried over channel lightning valley from turn before, and it's on the board. Sigil of lightning, we drew. Blast was arsenal, something like this, right? We play blast, and then we play sigil of lightning, and we pick up channel lightning valley, and just arsenal it. Now we have embodiment for next turn, channel lightning valley for next turn. It's really hard to break. You're looking at most likely a very insane turn there. Now the next thing is that Blast Oblivion makes Sigil of Aether an actual spell, because when you pick it up, it deals arcane damage, and you can Volzar pump that arcane damage. And Blast Oblivion also, like I've said many times before, it really pumps up the Volzar count very quickly from just very few hands, few cards in hand. Alright, the next thing that Blast Oblivion can do, which is very small hands, usually, is that you just have blast and one spell, and you disrupt your opponent. You just pick up because it says return target or a permanent from anywhere. It doesn't specify from your field. You can pick up stuff like their embodiment of lightning, their agility tokens, even their rune chants. Like the rune chants, you sort of deny 1 damage or heal 1. Like it's not the highest value, but it's something. Like these little things do matter, but denying agility tokens from brutes or warriors and denying embodiment of lightning from aura or mirror matchups, that is actually really relevant. So it's also something Blast can do, and sometimes do. Then there is the side of of shock, where people have come around that the shock is really damn powerful card. And this is one of my favorite 2-card hands. The other ones being like, of course, Gun Flash with like Sigil of Solid, Sigil of Brilliance, Sigil of Lightning. It's just really fun stuff. Here you have Conductivity on the board. You swing with Blast Oblivion. You have Tunic counter up. You take that, get 1 resource, shoot Shock, pick up Conductivity, and now you can arsenal the Conductivity. It creates embodiment of lightning token as it leaves, of course, or then cycle for a random arsenal or play it back for 1 extra damage. And then in response to null shock, you activate Volzar for 2 or 3 pump. So you're making off of Tunic 2 card 7 or 8, and making embodiment of lightning token also arsenaling card, so that is plus 3 or 4 value right there, plus the embodiment of token value, which is insanely hard to evaluate, but sometimes it can be as valuable as like 8 or something. I don't actually know. I think usually people value Gogan for like 2 or 3, but it's more about the value or more about the setup than the value. Because I think with Australia you want to think more on B turn value than turn by turn value, because you kind of wanted to do this oscillating turns where you do a little setup, do a big turn, do a little setup, do a big turn, have grease turn, have big turn, have big turn, have a big turn. Yeah, like that would be very ideal. So then you can also make arsenals. There's like a billion of these things that you can do. These are just some examples. Where you have brilliance in hand, you have blast, and then you have some sort of instant. So you play brilliance, play blast, play the instant, draw a random card. You can play the random card if it doesn't require AP, or play back the brilliance and arsenal the random card. Yeah, the other way around. Everything depends, but this is like this is like really it's just a fine turn, of course, because you carry over the draw. You get arsenal. You do 0 for 4. Last Oblivion 0 for 4. Very nice. Not much to say about this. Then there is also this side where blast helps your deck to pitch. Because again, this needs Embody of Lightning. This needs Conductivity on the board. And any random instant. And you just play blast with Go again. Play the random instant. Pick up the Conductivity, make Embody of Lightning token. And then pitch for a big spell like either Spindle or Comet Storm, the sigil of Conductivity. So yeah, that's really cool that you can do. This also comes up like enough times where it's kind of relevant, but it's again kind of specific situation. But do keep this in mind. It's really nice. Now, Blast Oblivion is also our best card at pulling out the maximum potential out of the bindings of the third age. Yeah, usually like third age, the bindings they just block 1, and you use them for like 2 damage, or then if the 1 damage does guarantee your surge, you do that. Then it's like 4 value or whatever, and like getting 3 to 5 value out of arms, very good, especially the 5 one. But with blast, you can get like 4 or 5, 3 amp out of this thing, and it gets that and Volzar. Yeah, you're doing a lot of arcane. You're doing a lot of winning of the game. So these are some of the pros that I TLDR'd here. Best Emblem Lightning user, best setup card, best at making them with lightnings. You have the highest combos with blast. You have alternative combos with blast. It uses Volzar the best, fastest. It elevates conductivity and shock to new level. Also sort of funnel because you create the Emblem Lightning. It can disrupt. It plays low and high hands. Then you also keeps the sigil of uptime, makes channel lightning value better. It is 0 for 4 or 5, depending if you use Volzar or not. 0 for 4 already really good. It like brings just the best out of all your cards in the whole deck, really, if you can play blast well. And like also it's just very synergy based deck. And as I said before, yeah, it's better to go alternating value than 14 all across the board or 13 all across the board. Now there's of course cons to this card as well. It does not have natural Gilligan, which means it can break sometimes to your hand. It needs other cards to do anything, and needs some sort of setup, like having Conductivity on board, having Embodied Lightning on the board. You need another instant with it. If you don't have instants, it doesn't do much. And it also blocks 2. It's like sometimes you block with it, and it's fine, but if it blocked 3, it would be way better. And if you throw multiple Blast Oblivions, if you don't have instants or ways to create go against, you break. But sometimes throwing multiple blasts means that you are doing insane combos as well. So there's that. Yeah, that was it. Hope I convinced you to play blast and play it better. Cheers.